Hello students, I'm here with another video from the chapter of class 10 Science NCERT book, that is, the name of the chapter is Life Processes. Before starting today's video, I would like to tell you all that till now what all things we have discussed in this chapter. So I have given you the concept of the various life processes, and we have discussed that the processes which are necessary to maintain our life, that is said to be as life process. Now, there are various life processes, there are various functions which are taking place in the body of an organism, whether it is a plant or an animal. In both the cases, both of them are living things, so they require certain things to sustain their life. I mean, for the survival, there are various functions, there are various processes which are necessary. I mean, without which the animals cannot survive. So, all such kinds of processes in life to maintain the life cycle is said to be as the life processes. Okay, now next thing we discussed about the first life processes, that is among the first life processes, it was the nutrition. We need every living being, whether it is a plant or an animal, they require food to eat. Now why there is a need to eat food? There is a need to eat food to gain energy. There are various functions of the food which are to be carried out. So the one of the most major function of the food which is to be carried out is that it gives us energy, it gives us various nutrients, it gives us various forms of various important substances which is necessary for the sustenance of our life. So we have studied about the various ways by which the organisms are gaining their nutrition. So basically there are two types of the nutrition. One is the autotrophic mode of nutrition and the other one is the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now for the plants, they are undergoing the mode of nutrition which is said to be as autotrophic mode of nutrition. Now, this autotrophic mode of nutrition means the plants are capable of maintaining their life by preparing their food. Now, how is this possible that plants are able to prepare their food? We have seen that plants require various raw materials which are inorganic in its nature. It requires carbon dioxide, it requires water, it requires sunlight, and it requires chlorophyll. Okay, it requires chlorophyll, and it is going to give rise to a product called food in the form of, and oxygen is also released. Now, this oxygen which is being released is used by the animals, okay, which is used up by the animals. Even the food which is being prepared by the plants is used up by the animals. So this is how plants and animals are interconnected. And if one of them is not present, the other one is going to die. Similarly, we are talking about the nutrition process in the plants, which is said to be as the photosynthesis. Okay, so this photosynthesis means it is a synthesis of food in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So chlorophyll is a pigment, it is a green pigment, it is a green chemical which is going to entrap the sun's energy. And once it is trapping the sun's energy, it is providing the energy to the plants, and because of which the plants are able to maintain the, I mean, they can make their own food. Now, after that, we studied about the heterotrophic mode of nutrition, where we have seen about the saprophytic mode of nutrition, parasitic mode of nutrition, and also we have seen about one more type of food. There was mm, the next type of nutrition which was being gained was the symbiosis. So we have already talked about all these things in detail in the past classes, as well as I have given you that all these things which are being taken up by the atmosphere, if their absence is there, the photosynthesis could not happen. It means that for the function of this photosynthesis to be performed well in the plants, they need to have the uh, they need to have this carbon dioxide and oxygen and this water in continuous amount. Now, if they require these raw materials for photosynthesis, there are certain ways by which there are certain ways, even because of which the plants are also living. So sometimes it becomes parasite, it is going to steal the things from nutrition, it will gain the nutrition from the other living host. Okay, then after that it could become the saprophytes or the saprotrophs. So they can undergo the saprotrophic mode of nutrition, then which means that the green non-green plants are present on the earth. So these non-green plants also, they require food to eat. So how is this how are these non-green plants being able to gain their nutrition? So they gain their nutrition by surviving on the dead and decaying remains of the plants and animals, which is said to be as a saprotrophic mode of nutrition, or it is also known as a saprophytic mode of nutrition. Okay. Then after that we have studied about the holozoic mode of nutrition. I told you that we'll discuss these things of holozoic mode of nutrition in details in the next class. Okay, I mean in the next where whenever we will study about the animal nutrition, then I'll give you the examples of the mode of nutrition that is said to be as a holozoic mode of nutrition. Okay, then afterwards we have to study, we have also seen the experiments which are related to the situations where if the chlorophyll is not present, then what would happen. So we have said that all these things are necessary for photosynthesis. What are these things? The conditions which are necessary for the photosynthesis. So we'll discuss about the conditions which are necessary for photosynthesis. Okay, so what are the conditions which are necessary for photosynthesis, children? The plants require sunlight. All the raw materials are the necessary condition. Okay, so all the raw materials which were present in for the photosynthesizing the food, all these conditions would be necessary. If one of them is absent, then photosynthesis is not going to take place. So sunlight is necessary, chlorophyll is necessary. So chlorophyll is necessary. Even the water is necessary and the carbon dioxide is necessary. Okay, so these are the major things which is required for the process of photosynthesis. So all these are the raw materials of photosynthesis which is required for the autotrophic mode of nutrition. Okay, so which means that the plant, if the plants are doing photosynthesis, they are going to make their food with the help of all these conditions which are to be present during the time of photosynthesis. Okay, now after that we will discuss about each and every we have to see about the pigment. So we have already we have seen the experiments where we were talking about, we have talked about these conditions where the food, if we are keeping the plant in the sunlight, and if the in the absence of sunlight, what would happen, in the absence of water, what would happen. Okay, in the absence or in the presence of carbon dioxide, what would happen. Okay, now we'll discuss more about some points regarding chlorophyll. So what is chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is the green pigment. It is also known what is pigment now? So pigment means it is a chemical which is giving color to anything. It could be, so pigment means any coloring agent. Okay, any coloring matter, any coloring substance. So it is said to be as the pigment. So the chlorophyll is a coloring pigment. Okay, now what is this pigment? Pigment means any coloring substance or color giving substance. Okay, it could be substance, it could be matter, it could be material, any coloring matter that is said to be as the chlorophyll, and this is said to be as the pigment. Okay, pigment could be, now here we are talking about the green pigment. So this chlorophyll is green in color. So it is a green pigment which gives the leaves, the part of the plant, a green color. Okay, then after that it is also present in the green parts of the plant, but it is also present in various other colors in the other parts of the plant. We have seen the leaves of the croton where we can see yellow pigment, where we can see green pigment, where we can also see the color pigment that is red or violet kind of color in it, in the leaves. So why the leaf is so colorful? So the leaf is so colorful because it is having the pigment which gives color, which means that it also has the type of chlorophyll. It is not only the green chlorophyll, there are different types of chlorophyll which gives color to the various parts of the plant. Okay, so we have talked about the colored plastids, or simply we can remember the structure of plastids. So plastid is a cell organelle which is of three types: leucoplast, chloroplast and chromoplast. So leucoplast is the pigment which has no color. Okay, it gives white color. We can see that the plants, they have flowers and the flowers are white in color. So why it is white in color? It because of the presence of the leucoplast. Okay, then after that we have seen that the colored parts of the plants are also there. There are different fruits in different colors, there are different flowers which are different in color except green. So all the colors, that is red, blue, orange, yellow, all these colors are being given to the plant or the parts of the plant by the another type of chloroplast, which is said to be as the chromoplast. Okay, the next and the last is this chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll, and it is present, it is required to give the green color to the parts of the plant, that is mainly the leaves. Okay, then after that there are different types of the chlorophyll. So how many types of chlorophyll you can understand here? So there are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, D, E and F. Okay. So there are four types of, there are four, and also there are there is one more type that is called bacteriochlorophyll. So some of the bacteria also contains chlorophyll. So that is said to be as bacteriochlorophyll. Okay. Now most the common type of chlorophyll is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Okay, so this is chlorophyll. The short form of chlorophyll is CHL. Okay, you can write down like that. So this is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. So these are the most common. So these are the most common chlorophyll. Okay, so this is about the function. The function of the chlorophyll is to trap energy, which means that it also has the type of chlorophyll. It is not only the green chlorophyll, there are different types of chlorophyll which gives color to the various parts of the plant. Okay, so we have talked about the colored plastids, or simply we can remember the structure of plastids. So plastid is a cell organelle which is of three types: leucoplast, chloroplast and chromoplast. So leucoplast is the pigment which has no color. Okay, it gives white color. We can see that the plants, they have flowers and the flowers are white in color. So why it is white in color? It because of the presence of the leucoplast. Okay, then after that we have seen that the colored parts of the plants are also there. There are different fruits in different colors, there are different flowers which are different in color except green. So all the colors, that is red, blue, orange, yellow, all these colors are being given to the plant or the parts of the plant by the another type of chloroplast, which is said to be as the chromoplast. Okay, the next and the last is this chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll, and it is present, it is required to give the green color to the parts of the plant, that is mainly the leaves. Okay, then after that there are different types of the chlorophyll. So how many types of chlorophyll you can understand here? So there are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, chlorophyll C, D, E and F. Okay. So there are four types of, there are four, and also there are there is one more type that is called bacteriochlorophyll. So some of the bacteria also contains chlorophyll. So that is said to be as bacteriochlorophyll. Okay. Now most the common type of, so the most common type, as I discussed, that it is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, and the function of the chlorophyll is to entrap sun's energy. Okay. Then after that, except this chlorophyll, which is green in color, there are different other colors also which is being given by these chlorophyll. So if the other, so I'll tell you some more other coloring agents, coloring pigments like chlorophyll. There are other coloring pigments like the carotenoids. Okay, so there are carotenoids which are brown, yellow and orange in color. Okay, so this is also brown, yellow, orange in color. Okay, so there could be different colors which are being given by these types of the different coloring agents. Okay, so there are different other colors which except green, so there could be different other colors which could be given by these coloring agents, these coloring pigments, but the main function is to entrap energy. Okay, entrap sun's energy. Then after that we can discuss about the chlorophyll is going to perform, they also perform photosynthesis because carotenoids, they absorb carotenes and carotenoids, these are the various colored pigments. Okay, in animals also there are different colored pigments, like hemoglobin is also a coloring pigment which gives the blood the red in color. Okay, similarly here in plants they give green color because of the presence of the chlorophyll, because of the presence of the carotenoids. Now next important condition is the presence of carbon dioxide. So how this carbon dioxide acts as an important raw material for the plants. So this carbon dioxide is an important material for the plant because this carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere, it is present in the air, and it is also being added up in the air by different functions there, by different processes like burning of the various substances, burning of the fuel could be there, burning of the garbage could be there. Burning causes one of the gas which is to be released is this carbon dioxide. Okay, so there are various other important ways by which this carbon dioxide is being added up. So because of combustion, because of the presence of the different means there are different fuels which when burned, it gives rise to the gas which is said to be as carbon dioxide. Now this carbon dioxide is also released by the process of respiration by the human beings and by the animals also. Okay, now this released carbon dioxide enters in the plants with the help of the tiny pores called stomata. Now, once they are being added up in the, once they are being absorbed by the stomata, then what happens? It is going to be present in the plant, and then plant, when it entraps energy, this carbon dioxide and carbon dioxide is going to give, this is going to be present. The stomatas are all present on the surface of the leaves. It is present on the upper surface as well as the lower surface of the leaves. In some aquatic plants, it is only present on the upper surface because lower surface is completely immersed in water. So it would be, the stomata would be damaged because of the presence of the water in the surrounding. Okay. Now, next is important function of water. How is this water an important component of photosynthesis, and what would happen if no water is present? So mainly this water is responsible for the release of oxygen in the plants while photosynthesis. So we have studied that oxygen is being released by after the process of photosynthesis. Once the food is being generated, then it also generates the oxygen in it. Now from where is this oxygen coming? Oxygen is coming from the photolysis of water, which we already discussed. From where is this photolysis happening? In short, I have told you, because the process of photosynthesis is a matter of your higher classes, where you will study how is photosynthesis going to happen, how is this ATP going to be synthesized, photophosphorylation is taking place, and how the photolysis of water is taking place, and from where is this electron being coming, from where is this from where is this water getting broken down into its components. Okay, then after that we have also seen that water moves in the plants with the help of the xylem. Okay, now there could be certain factors which are necessary for the photosynthesis. As I have told, all these are the factors, and if these factors are not present, if carbon dioxide is present in excess amount, if water is present in excess amount, if the if it is if temperature is not there, then proper temperature and proper sunlight is not there, proper carbon dioxide is not there, and even the water is not present, then what would happen? What would be the affecting? Or all these things are going to affect whether they are going to affect the rate of photosynthesis or not. So the rate of photosynthesis is being affected by various of the factors. So all these various factors which are responsible for the factors which are responsible for the increase the decrease rate of the photosynthesis which could be like what is the effect of light? What is the effect of light on photosynthesis? So if there is presence of sunlight, then there would be photosynthesis. It is very clear because we have already studied regarding the effect of sunlight. If sunlight is present, then photosynthesis would happen. If sunlight is not present, then photosynthesis would not happen. So no light, which is going to be no photosynthesis. So if there is the absence of sunlight, no photosynthesis. Okay, there would be no photosynthesis. Now, if more and more light is present, then what would happen? Whether the increase in the light intensity is going to affect the rate of photosynthesis or not. So, if there is increase in sunlight, then what would happen? I told that when there is no light, it means no photosynthesis. Now, what will happen if more amount of sunlight is present then? So if we see that sunlight is present in the larger amount and in the higher intensity of the sunlight is present, then also there would be no photosynthesis. Okay. I think that would be a very interesting fact, that how I said that when the light is present, photosynthesis will happen. But now I am saying that if the light is more, then photosynthesis would not happen. How is this possible? See, this is possible. And of course, yes, this is happening also. Because if there is increase in the sunlight, intensity of sunlight is increasing, then what would happen? First of all, see, when the sunrise is happening, whenever the sunrise is happening, I mean, the intensity is gradually increasing. It is going to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, it is going to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Now, children, if the rate of photosynthesis is going to be increased, and then what would happen during the noon time? Then during the noon or afternoon. Then what would happen? The rate of photosynthesis becomes constant. Okay, पहले increase करेगा, then what would happen during the noon time? It is going to be constant. And if intensity is increasing, it is a very high intensity, the photosynthesis would not happen. It is going to drop down. So why this is happening? Because of the bleaching of chlorophyll takes place. Now, what is this bleaching of chlorophyll? Bleaching means discoloration. Okay, it's very simple. Suppose that whenever the clothes are being stained, okay, now if certain stains are there, then what we do? For the white clothes, we simply apply bleach on it. So what is this bleach going to do? Bleach is going to lighten the stains. Okay, similarly here the coloring pigment was chlorophyll. So this chlorophyll is green in color, and if more and more amount of sunlight is falling on this chlorophyll, then what would happen? It is going to decrease the activity of the chlorophyll, because it is going to be bleached. Once the discoloration is happening, that green color is only responsible for the entrapping of the sunlight. But if the sunlight is only not being entrapped, the energy is not being entrapped, then what would happen? Because of the discoloration of this chlorophyll. So increase in intensity of the light, it is going to discolor this. It is going to bleach. The exact word is it causes bleaching of chlorophyll. Okay, so now the sunlight is not going to be entrapped and there would be no photosynthesis. So this is the reason because of which the effect of sunlight is going to increase the photosynthesis, but if high intensity is there, it is going to stop the photosynthesis. The reason behind this is the bleaching of the coloring agent, the bleaching of chlorophyll will take place. Okay. Now next is what is the effect of carbon dioxide. What is the effect of carbon dioxide? Now, if carbon dioxide is increasing, if this carbon dioxide is increasing, it increases the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, it is going to increase the rate of photosynthesis. Now, if there is up to a certain point, it is going to be increased. If I draw a graph, up to a certain point, it is going to increase. Now, if more and more amount of carbon dioxide is being given, then the rate of photosynthesis is going to be slowed down. It slows down. Now, again, what is the reason behind this? why this increase in the carbon dioxide, if excess amount of carbon dioxide is being present, then what would happen? It is going to slow down the reaction of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is not going to happen. Okay. Now, if photosynthesis is not going to happen, now what is the reason behind this? As the reason regarding the in the presence of sunlight, excessive amount of sunlight intensity was there, it is going to cause the discoloration of the chlorophyll, because of which the sunlight was not able to interact. Now next, what is going to happen? This carbon dioxide is going to increase. Now increase in carbon dioxide causes the stomata to close. So stomata closure occurs. Fine, stomata बंद हो जाते हैं अगर ज्यादा अमाउंट में कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड प्रेजेंट होगी तो. Okay. See, just relate the things. How you can relate the things? It's very easy. We have talked about the light intensity which is directly related with the chlorophyll. है ना, chlorophyll जब भी रहेगा इसका मतलब है कि it is responsible for the entrapping of the sun's energy. तो जब chlorophyll present है तो light intensity से ही ये related है. अगर लाइट इंटेंसिटी आई मीन सनलाइट से ये रिलेटेड डायरेक्टली रिलेट हम कर रहे हैं, क्लोरोफिल को हम डायरेक्टली रिलेट करते हैं सनलाइट से. सिमिलरली कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड एंटर्स इन द प्लांट्स विद द हेल्प ऑफ स्टोमाटा. तो यहाँ पे हम किससे रिलेट कर रहे हैं? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड को हम स्टोमाटा से रिलेट कर रहे हैं. अब increased amount of अगर कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज प्रेजेंट, देन व्हाट वुड हैपन? इट इज गोइंग टू क्लोज द स्टोमाटा. So stomata is a tiny pore, and if intensity is going to increase, it is going to close the stomata. Fine. It is going to be, because stomata is going to be closed. Similarly, the same problem would arise. The photosynthesis is going to be decreased. Now next is the effect of other factor. The next factor is the effect of water. Okay, what is the effect of water on the rate of photosynthesis? जैसे कि क्लोरोफिल अगर कम हो गया, क्लोरोफिल अगर है बट सनलाइट अगर ज्यादा हो गया बहुत, तो क्लोरोफिल एंट्रैप नहीं करेगा बिकॉज ब्लीचिंग ऑफ क्लोरोफिल इज हैपनिंग. इफ इंक्रीज्ड अमाउंट ऑफ कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज प्रेजेंट, देन अगेन स्टोमाटा क्लोजेस, नो फोटोसिंथेसिस. वॉट अबाउट वाटर? वाटर का तो हम लोग बहुत आराम से समझ सकते हैं, क्योंकि वाटर अगर प्रेजेंट है तो प्लांट्स आराम से उस वाटर को ले लेते हैं, एब्जॉर्ब कर लेते हैं, और उसके बाद फिर ये फोटोसिंथेसिस करने में हेल्प करता है. Similarly, here if intensity of, I mean, the amount of water is increased, then what would happen? If the amount of water is increased, then there is, it is not going to be much affected. And if the water is decreased, we all know that plants require water, and if water is getting decreased, then what would happen? If water gets decreased, if water gets reduced, then the rate of photosynthesis also comes down. If water is less, then it causes decrease in the rate of photosynthesis. Okay. Now, if there is decrease in the photosynthesis, you know that sun energy is always present. It causes transpiration. If transpiration is happening more and more, then what would happen? Then again, the water is being, if water is not present, then stomata stops. It is going to be closed so that no transpiration could happen. So if there is less in water, the rate of photosynthesis will be gone down because stomata is going to be closed. So reason behind this is, the reason for this is that stomata closes. Okay, the stomata closure occurs. Similarly, next is what is the effect of temperature? The last is the effect of temperature. Now, what is the effect of temperature on the rate of photosynthesis? If there is increase in the rate of photosynthesis, it means that temperature is being rising up. Now, once the temperature is rising up, because of the high temperature, the rate of photosynthesis is going to be decreased because of the rate of photosynthesis decreases. First of all, remember this. The rate of photosynthesis decreases. Because why it decreases? Because of the increase in temperature. Okay, because of the increase in temperature, it is going to decrease the rate of photosynthesis. Fine, children. Now, why this is happening? This happens because of the activity of the enzyme. Enzyme activity decreases. Now, what is this enzyme activity? Enzyme activity means it is the chemical which is helpful in the rate of, it is helpful for doing photosynthesis. So, if the enzymes are not present, then photosynthesis would not happen. If increase in temperature is happening, this denatures the enzyme. Again, the enzyme activity is going to be reduced and there would be no photosynthesis, children. Okay. So, that's all for today's video, children. I have discussed the effect of rate of photosynthesis, effect of various materials on the rate of photosynthesis, different factors which are responsible for increasing and decreasing the rate of photosynthesis, in which we studied about the rate of photosynthesis is affected by the light, by the carbon dioxide, by water, as well as the temperature. Okay, so that's all for today's video, children. I will come up with next topic of this chapter in the next class. So till then, you can revise the things and you can ask your doubts in your online class. So that's all for today. I'll meet you all in the next class.